Happy people. Happy people. I hope we are doing good today. I am going to dive right in. I did not get a chance to really, sometimes God just gives me things at the very last minute and it ends up turning out to be a spare of the moment thing where I just jump in and dive right in. So I hope that this video will bless you and help you to stay focused. So in this conversation, I guess the question would be, how often do we seldom ignore the little small voice that's talking to us from the inside? Some of us call it our conscience. Some of us call it a still small voice. Some of us call it, about intuition. Um, we said, I felt in my spirit I shouldn't have moved and gone there. Or we'll say, you know what? I had a feeling in that I should have waited before I took my car, or I'm so glad I didn't follow my mind and do this and do that. You know those voices that you hear, and I don't know about you, but the voices that I often hear sometimes are at war with each other. I hear the enemy trying to tell me one thing, and I hear God saying another thing. And how oftentimes, do we get to a place to where we ignore or, kind of push away the voice that really is speaking, you life. Um, the voice is really promising you things that's going to bring it to fruition, but because you are so wrapped up in the hustle and bustle of life itself, you oftentimes ignore those things, or you ignore that voice that you hear. Yesterday, I was traveling and I had to go to Texas, and I had left there about 5 o'clock in the morning. And so my drivers that were actually driving me down to Texas, they were listening to words of affirmation. And I asked them, I said, do you guys always listen to? And they said, oh, yes, first thing in the morning. The first thing in the morning, what I do is I turn on words of affirmation that I can hear the voice of what God is saying to me for this day. And I thought that that was so powerful. And it still didn't strike me as a conversation to have at that moment. It was 5 o'clock in the morning. It wasn't until later on, after I was traveling back, and I started saying, how often do we ignore his voice? Because sometimes he wakes me up 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'd be so tired. And or it be 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, be very tired. I'm like, okay. And then he's just speaking to me about revelations, different things that he wants to share. And so one of the things in uh that I want to bring to you, John 10:27, it says, my sheep hear my voice, and a stranger it won't follow. And so, when we think about that in terms of listening to the voice within, are you really hearing his voice? And when you do, how often do you obey? So I'm gonna and this is just a place of just touching a conversation to motivate you to dig deep down within and start listening to that small voice. Start cultivating what you hear him saying. I wrote down, God whispers your roadmap. He whispers a roadmap. First King chapter 19, 11 and 12, it says Elijah found God not in a loud event, but when he was in a quiet area, he heard him whisper. And then so I wrote down, don't wait for the dramatic voice to hear that you need to hear from God, thou this and all that. So don't wait for that, because it sometimes comes in that still small voice. He's not a God that's going to push himself or force himself on you. It says his voice, quiet a quiet voice holds the directions you need. His voice is a quiet voice that holds the directions of what you need. When life gets loud, find the courage to be still, to listen. His voice will whisper the pathway. Sometimes you just got to shut out the noise. And I've had to get to a point to where I had to just I don't turn on my radio. I just I don't turn on when I come home. I don't turn on the TV. I just sit there and listen and wait for him to speak. Move beyond listening and act on it. When the Lord spoke with me, and just as a way of testimony, and I have people that's on my team that can vouch for this, um, that we were moving to Tennessee. I literally sold all my furniture in my house because I didn't want to leave with the same thing that I came here with. So I sold everything in my house. I did. I sold everything. And and when I say everything, the living room sets, the dining room tables and all that stuff. We kept our beds, because of course we have to have something to sleep on. But I sold everything as a act of faith to say, Lord, I believe you, and I want you to repeat after me. Faith requires corresponding action. Say that with me. Faith requires corresponding action, and so as a ignitement of my faith responding to what I heard him say in a small whisper, I began to just move. And we have been packed. My wife is like, "Are you serious?" But we have been packed, literally packed. I got stuff out in my garage that are in totes. I went and bought almost $400 worth of tote boxes. Those big yellow containers you can get at Sam's, black containers with the yellow tops. About $400 worth of it. Um, and we just packed up everything, and just left the bare essentials to be able to survive off of from day to day. And as an act of saying, God, I believe you. I believe that we're moving. And so I moved in that aspect. And we have been packed for 3 years. Do not know how he gonna do it. Do not know where the money's gonna come from. Do not know what's gonna occur. But what I do know is none of my business. However he works it out, we are obeying and we're going. That's what I believe. And so his voice whispers, and to some people it sounds foolish and it sounds wise, but hey, I choose to believe. In James 1 and 22, it says, don't just listen to God's word, do what he says. And I acted in faith by saying, I believe you. I'm going to do what you say and I'm going to get ready. He gave me a number that he said that he wanted me to ask him for. And I said, okay, Lord, I gave you the number. I don't know how he's going to do it. It's none of my business. I just know that it's going to be done. Come on. Um, it's not enough to hear him. You got to move. I just talked about that. Break the cycle of interaction and step into what God has been telling you. Step into it. Every step you take in an act of obedience gains momentum towards your destiny. My God. I'm going to say that one more time. Every step you take in an act of obedience builds and gain momentum towards your destiny. Man, that okay. Don't let your heart harden to where you get to a place to where you say, well, and you start reasoning with your reality. Don't reason with it because your reality is not really your reality. Okay. It is a moment in time of where you're at that point in time, but it's not a reality. Your reality has not yet appeared or what it shall be. But he promised us that we shall be like him. So I believe I'm just trying to encourage you, you guys. I'm just trying because there's so many of us that are walking to this place called purpose, and we don't know what it looks like. But I want to encourage you on the way so I can show you that this thing can be done. And so I wrote down today you hear his voice. The word God says, harden not your heart. Ignoring God's lead to his lead will ultimately bring you to missing opportunities. Ignoring his voice will cause you to miss opportunities. I'm always hearing in a meeting or in a social gathering, I'm listening to find out where is my next assignment to move towards. Don't let pride or fear or doubt close you off. Soften your heart and be willing to be open and watch the door open. Hmm. And let me tell you something. There's a lot of things that will come your way to kind of that will try to help harden your heart and make it hard. But don't let those things penetrate. People do not. That is a sure gateway that God will close your door. Don't do that. Okay. Drown out the noise and stay lasered focused. You know, if I took the gun and I pointed at you with that laser is a direct point of when I fire that pistol, it's gonna hit the point of where that laser was shining at on that body or on that person or on that thing or whatever. Stay lasered focused, meaning don't take your eyes off of what he promised you. I promise you every day I'm getting up. Okay. What is it now? Okay. I'm not letting these things that can try to, distract me or infiltrate me. I had a situation yesterday where someone had sent me a large sum of money, and it was made out to me. So I placed it in my ministry's account, and I guess I was wrong for doing that. I don't know. My ministry, my ministry account is JO Ministries. So I was like, well, why it shouldn't be a problem. But I found out that I should have put it in my personal account. And but what I found out in this whole situation, listen, I'm still listening for God's voice. And I'm getting frustrated with this woman telling me that I shouldn't have did this and what do I intend on doing with this money? And I've never had a banker ask me what do I intend on doing with this money or my money. I just never have had that happen. And so then it escalated to where this check could be a potential fraud after they spoke to the president of the company that sent me the money. Okay, yeah. And so I'm like, fraud, like, and then I started, the Lord said, do not let this frustration cloud your judgment on what it is that I'm trying to show you. And so I said, okay. So I'm still kind of upset. I'm not gonna lie, I'm upset now. And so they're trying to teach me and educate me. And I'm thinking to myself, what are you educating me on? The check didn't bounce. It was a cashier's check. The check didn't bounce. I could see if the check bounced, then you could educate me, but it didn't bounce. It was a good check. The check cleared. So what is the problem? And so then I said, well, the problem is this is what they said. Well, the problem is that the account had been dormant for over 6 months. Okay. It's been dormant over 6 months. I put it in there. What's the problem? And it just was so foreign to me. I was like, what is this? What is this about? And so it came to my attention to ask this question. There's going to be many times I'm going to be putting large sums of money in my account. Every time I put money in this account, you mean that I got to have it's going to send a flag to the fraud department to review and question me like this? Okay. So I said, I need to talk to the regional manager. So, she called the regional manager, and the regional manager said, well, we think it's best that you take your account someplace else. And I'm like, huh? Who says something like that? And so I'm like, maybe I'm just being punked. Am I on candid camera? Like, what is going on? And then it dawned on me, maybe I am at the wrong place because what God is sending me and what I'm preparing for. Come on, people. I need to make sure that I have a bank that's reputable enough to be able to hold what God is getting ready to send me. And sometimes we get so frustrated in the message that's trying to be conveyed to you, we miss the message. Okay. And so I said, well, maybe my ministry shouldn't be in this account, this account. After all, your bank ain't even big enough. It's not even big and that in this aspect to where I'm going. So maybe I need a bank that's actually worldwide that wherever I go, it won't be an issue with large sums of money coming in there. And so I'm like, but don't get frustrated about it. Listening to his voice, I heard clear direction. You need to move your money about that account. You need to close your ministry account with that and put it into a reputable place to where when those large sums of money starts coming in, more often, it won't be a question about something like that because they're open and ready to receive and handle those such things. Come on, God was talking. So hey, instead of getting frustrated, I was mad at for a minute because I'm like, who questions somebody like that? I'm like, like who does that? But I realized and I learned in the midst of me calming down and listening to his voice, you telling me to move so I can prepare myself for what's to come. Okay. So stay laser focused, people. Stay laser focused. God voice is your compass. The world is filled with distraction, but you are called to hear him clearly. The world will be filled with all sorts of distractions, but you need to be able to hear his voice clearly. Okay? Block out the noise and focus his call and watch everything fall into place when you focus. All right? God's timing is perfect. It's perfect. God's time is perfect. And so we need to be willing to listen to his voice and listen to his timing. I am sorry. Call Elijah so he can come pick you up. Okay? All right. I'm so sorry. That was my son, and it's time to pick him up from swimming practice. I'm just being authentic. It is what it is. Okay. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and don't be leaning to your understanding because your understanding, you will never understand the way God understands. His thinking, his ways of thinking is far more beyond us. Okay. You may not understand everything right now, but God does not stop doing what he needs to do because you don't understand it. Stop doubting, stop delaying, trust his plan for you that it is very, very perfect. It is good and perfect. Okay. Move forward with faith, knowing he's already worked it out. We have a guidance to listen to him, you guys. John 16:13, it says, when the spirit of truth comes, he will guide you into all truth. Okay. You are never alone. The Holy Spirit is always guiding you even when you don't even realize that he's guiding you, okay? Leading you towards success and the breakthrough. Don't ignore his prompting. Tune in and move boldly where he directs you. Boldly, with assurance, with confidence. Set your mind on the victory. Colossians 3:2 says, set your mind on things above, things above, not these earthly things, but things above, the things that he has promised you. Okay. Listen, listen to his voice and don't get distracted. Lift your focus from the temporary distractions to the eternal reward. Keep your eyes on God's promise and not the obstacles. Stay focused, stay driven, and let nothing pull you off course. All right. I'm out of time because I think I got to go get my son because I'm not hearing my son upstairs move. So, but I'm out of time. I hope that this blessed you. I hope that this was a word that you can feed off of, that you can listen to and become motivated. Who when you're waking up in the morning or whatever, or that you could just share it with somebody that's going through maybe trusting him and trying to understand his movement. Okay, I'm out of time. I'm J.L. Stone. We're going to do it on purpose, in purpose, with all power. Listen, would you please like, subscribe, and share? When you like it and you subscribe, you get the notifications. I do these videos, motivation videos every week. It's just something to encourage you as I journey. We are journeying together, okay? Hey, you may say, I'm stuck and I don't know how to really trust in him or how to understand hearing his voice. Listen, we have a beautiful coaching team of people that we will either come out to you or you bring you to us, to help you get unstuck. We have the book and the we have a workbook that we normally use. Let me see if I can find it. The workbook that we normally use, and in this workbook, this workbook is there to kind of help you shift, into identifying those things that keep you stuck. And I'm going to put this up here in just a second. Let's see where it's here. Yes, the workbook. I also have a book as well. This should be down there right now, down there right there. And the workbook, we use it in our coaching sessions. We very rarely get through it, but it is a workbook that helps you get unstuck in the obstacles. Okay, and then uh, listen, if you like just to get some more information, you can go to my website. Yes, go to my website. It is www.imjlstone. Yes, the website is imjlstone. Click the custom button there. Um, or more information button. You can tell you how you can be a part of the Let's Talk Truth coaching. And hey, find out more information. We have on there where you can get these wonderful shirts, the wonderful fall wear shirts on there, or the I'm Fearfully Wonderfully Made shirts. There they are down there right there. Okay, they're very inexpensive, but very, very durable. They last under shop washing and drying and stuff like that. They don't fade. Great stocking stuffers. With Christmas is right around the corner, so if you need some, you better get it now. Okay. So that is everything, I believe, my spiel that I normally give with you guys, but I'm out of time. We're going to do it on purpose. We're going to do it in purpose, and we're going to do it with all power. Like, subscribe, share. I'm JL Stone. For now, talk to you next week.